Let us spend some time with our readings today from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 11, verses 29 to 36, and Luke's Gospel, chapter 14, verses 12 to 14. They contain a wonderful and challenging teaching about human freedom. I'd like to link these readings to a brief paragraph from the Catechism of the Catholic Church, Life in the Spirit, the Dignity of the Human Person, Article 1700. The dignity of the human person is rooted in his creation in the image and likeness of God. It is fulfilled in his vocation to divine beatitude. It is essential to a human being freely to direct himself or herself to this fulfillment. By his deliberate actions, the human person does or does not conform to the good promised by God and attested by moral conscience. Human beings make their own contribution to their interior growth. They make their whole sentient and spiritual lives into means of this growth. With the help of grace, they grow in virtue. With the help of grace, they avoid sin. And if they sin, they entrust themselves, as did the prodigal son, to the mercy of our Father in heaven. In this way, they attain to the perfection of charity. Against this background, we can meditate on the message of our two readings. It's about freedom. When we commit sin, when we do something wrong which is signaled by our conscience, sin puts us on the track of fate. We start a journey, a negative journey, which is determined, which is more and more difficult to change. Sin deprives us of our options and chances. It is only through love that we regain these options and choices. It is only love, the acts of love, the intention of love, which changes our life into a free life, not governed by fate, but by the options of love. St. Paul's letter to the Romans, this brief passage highlights these two options. God has imprisoned all men in their own disobedience only to show mercy to all humankind. So God's grace, our joining and our cooperation with God, this is what lifts us above fate. Luke's Gospel, what Jesus recommends to the leading Pharisee, that when you give a lunch or dinner, Do not ask your friends, brothers, relations, or rich neighbors to come, but offer it for the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. That they cannot pay you back, it means that you are fortunate, because repayment will be made to you when the virtuous rise again. Repayment for our unselfish deeds, good deeds, will be rewarded in heaven. And this shows the very source from where our liberation from the grip of fate comes. We are created in the image of God to imitate His love, His thinking, and His freedom. So we could ask ourselves two questions. First, can we recall events from our life when our life was governed and led by fate, and how it felt? Where did it lead? And also, can we recall the moment when our life was led by this kind of freedom of which St. Paul and Jesus speaks in our readings? When what we did purposefully for the intention of Christ and the Church, when we did something good, when we prayed for